Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a Valentine's Day inspired makeup look. Valentine's Day is this week and I thought it would be fun to do just a really soft, romantic, kind of soft glam makeup look for Valentine's Day, but obviously you could do this anytime. I thought it would be fun to do this week with Valentine's Day in a few days. And this is kind of the product that inspired this whole video. I wanted to use this specific palette from YSL. This is the Couture, the Mini Clutch Palette in Babylone Roses. I actually bought this probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I bought it with the intention of using it for a different video. I didn't end up doing that, but I thought this would be a perfect palette for Valentine's Day. When I think of Valentine's Day, soft, romantic kind of makeup, these are the colors that I think of. So we're going to use this today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. And let's get started. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with a little bit of the Valentino V Lighter. This one is in the shade Rosa. This is in my everyday makeup drawer this month. I'm going to use a lot of products actually from my everyday makeup drawer this month, other than the palette, the YSL palette. That is a new product, but everything else will be from my everyday makeup. I have to say, the more I have used this product from Valentino, the more I like it. I wasn't a huge fan of it when I first tried it, but I have been using it more since it's been in my everyday makeup, and I do like it. I wish the fragrance was not as strong. It is very, very fragranced. That's the only thing. And it smells incredible. It smells really good, but I don't know. I wish it didn't have the fragrance, or the fragrance wasn't as strong as it is, but it does look really nice underneath makeup. And I've really been liking it with just concealer over the top so that you can really see this on your skin. Anyway, if you were wondering, I'm starting to like this a bit more. All right, let's move on to color corrector. I'm gonna use my Exa High Fidelity corrector in 2 shades. So I'm using Peach in the inner corner, and then I'm going in with a little bit of the pink shade just over from that, and just blend those two together. Honestly, we have no plans for Valentine's Day, so I probably will not be going anywhere or doing anything, but just staying home. Let me know if you always go out on Valentine's Day or if you stay home. I feel like going out on Valentine's Day is highly overrated, personally. It's always crowded. I feel like the food is never as good because they're busy and they're just trying to get things done. I don't know. I always feel a little bit disappointed when we do. Let me know if you have plans. For foundation, I'm going to use the Chantecaille Future Skin. And this is how I've been using mine. I should probably get like a little spatula to dip, but normally I just use the end of one of my brushes to scoop some out, and then I just kind of dot it around my face. I don't know. Definitely a downside of this foundation. It's definitely not easy to use based on the packaging. And I wear the shade Alabaster in this. One thing I will say about this foundation, just based on using it pretty consistently since it's been in my everyday makeup, is first of all, it is truly undetectable on your skin. absolutely looks just like your skin. And I know that's kind of I feel like you hear that a lot about things, but it's really true for this product. But another thing I will say is that you do not get a lot of coverage with this. I'm not sure why on the website it says medium to full coverage. I very seriously doubt you could ever get a full coverage from this. I mean, you'd have to really build it up. And I also find that this formula, I would not say is a super buildable formula. I think where it looks its best is when you apply one layer of it and move on. And then if you need more coverage, add concealer where you need it. But I have found that when I do try to really layer it up, I don't think it looks as good on my skin personally. So I think the best way to use this is as like a lightweight base, and then if you want more coverage or you need more coverage, then add it with a concealer that you like. I don't know, I just think it kind of takes away one of its best attributes when you try to add more and more and more. I just think it looks its best applied in one layer. But something else I will say about it is this is a very long wearing foundation. It wears really, really well on me. I have normal skin, sometimes a little bit oily in the T-zone, but that's mainly in the summertime. But overall, I would say my skin is pretty normal and it wears really, really well on me. The shade Alabaster is also a very, very, very good shade match for me if you are around my skin tone. That one is a very good match. Now, for concealer, I'm going to use my holy grail at this point, the Natasha Denona. I'm going to use two different shades, and this is how I like to use the Chantecaille foundation. I like to then go in and apply concealer where I want a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to go into the shade N2, which is, again, a spot-on shade match for my skin. And I'm going to add this where I want some more coverage. And then I'm going to go into RN3, and I'm going to use this under my eyes and maybe a little bit like around my nose right here. But I'm not going to use a lot of this because, like I've said with this concealer, you do not need a lot of it. It is very thin, but very, very pigmented. And just going to blend that in with my same brush. This is the 106 from BK Beauty. So something I just noticed a few minutes ago is after I applied that V-liner from Valentino, my nose started to get kind of sniffly, and I wasn't that way before I started filming. And that's something I've been noticing the last week or two is I've been fine, and then all of a sudden my nose will get kind of like sniffly, and I wonder if it's from that Valentino product. I just now kind of put those two together. I don't know, maybe I'm allergic to something in the fragrance that's in there. I don't know, but I just thought of that. I just noticed that. I'm switching to a Sigma FO3 for under my eyes. This has kind of been my go-to concealer brush again lately. I kind of switch back and forth between brushes. I kind of get in phases where I use one over the other, and this is kind of the one I'm using for concealer right now. I really love it. I also find with this Natasha Denona concealer, this is true of most concealers, but it's definitely true with this formula, is it works even better in terms of giving you coverage if you let it sit on your skin and kind of dry down a little bit before you start blending it. So keep that in mind. If you want more coverage, let it sit for a minute. If you want less coverage, don't let it sit and blend it out pretty quick. I also think this concealer in particular pairs well with this base combo because the Natasha concealer is more of a soft matte finish. So the Chantecaille foundation is more on the hydrating side. That V liner obviously has some glow to it. So these three products pair well together. All right, I'm gonna use a little bit of cream bronzer. I'm gonna use this one from LYS. This is the shade Motivate. This is the No Limits cream bronzer. Now, I wish so badly that they would extend the shade range on these because this formula is so good. It is so good. It's so creamy and it's just a really nice cream bronzer formula, but these shades, at least the one I have, but even the other three, I think there are 3 other shades or maybe 4, all of them that I've seen are extremely warm, like very, very warm. I wish they would release some different shades that are a little bit more neutral or more cool toned because this is a beautiful formula, but it's a little bit warm for me. So I hope maybe they'll do that. I think this was definitely a popular product for them, so maybe they will. The formula is amazing, but the shades, the undertones we need a bit of an extension, I think. But the formula is beautiful. And it's also extremely pigmented. So this one I would not personally swipe right onto your face. I mean, it is very, very pigmented. So if you end up trying this, just make sure you're kind of careful with it because it has a lot of pigment and it's very warm. I'm going to take a damp sponge and just kind of blend the edges here because it can be a lot if you over apply it. So I'm doing it in sections and I'm using my A507 from BK Beauty because it's a larger, kind of fluffier brush. So it can kind of help not get too much product, too much concentrated in one area. For blush, I think I'm actually going to go into my Hourglass palette. This is the lighter one. So this is the light shade in the leopard packaging. I don't know if you can still get these palettes or if they're gone, but I'm going to use a little bit of both blushes in here. I've been really liking mixing them. One is a little bit more mauve-y rosy, and then one's a little bit brighter. But I really love these colors. And I'm using my Smashbox Buildable Cheek brush. These blushes are really nice because they add a little bit of a sheen. They're not flat matte blushes, but they're not like crazy glowy. They just add a little bit of a sheen. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this light pink highlight right here. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of this to my cheeks. I'm using the Sigma F03 again for this because this is actually what that brush is meant for, is highlighter. So I have like 4 of them and I'm using this one that's clean for highlight. Next, I'm going to use just a little bit of powder, and something I've kind of been experimenting with is I've been using both of these NARS powders, but I use them for different things. So this one is just the translucent one, the white color one. Then this one is the soft matte version in the shade Creek. And this one has pigment to it. So This one I use kind of lightly right here on the side of my nose, and then kind of underneath my blush bronzer, and then a little bit on my chin. So I don't take this one under my eyes. This one's not my favorite under my eyes. I like the other one for that. So we'll do that in just a second. So I use that one in most places. And then I've really been liking, let me find my brush, using this NARS light reflecting powder under my eyes. I don't know, I think it's because it's a very thin powder. It's not super pigmented, and I don't know, I feel like it looks nice under my eyes. So I'm gonna go back in real quickly with my concealer brush and just kind of go over everything. I also find that I like a powder that's more on the light side in terms of like the consistency with the Natasha Denona concealer. I don't find that I love a super heavy powder with that concealer, I think because it has a lot of pigment already. But I've been using this NARS powder just under my eyes with this BK Nikki La Rose N14. This is a great under eye powder brush. And I've really been liking doing this because I don't know, I'm kind of funny about powders under my eyes. Sometimes, depending on the day, I don't even do a powder under my eyes. But if I'm doing like a full makeup look, sometimes I feel like I should, but I don't love a lot of powders under my eyes. So anyway, this is the one that I've been liking currently. All right, I am gonna fill in my brows now. Same way I've been doing it every single video, every single day, even when I'm not filming, I'm using my brow powder from ABH. Okay, we're about to move into the fun, the eyes, but I am going to use my Rare Beauty brow gel to set my brows in place. I gotta say, I really do like this brow gel. It works really well. It really does hold your brows in place, gives them a really natural, kind of fluffy texture look, if that's what you like. It's good. And actually, when I was in Sephora a few days ago, I noticed that they have this in store now. They have the Rare Beauty brow gel. I know it was online only for a while, and then I think they were saying it was going to be like limited edition, but they had it in store at Sephora when I was there, just FYI. Okay, let's move into eyes. So I am going to prime first with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. This is the primer I have in my everyday makeup right now. And it doesn't really add a ton of color, but it has just a little bit of a tint, so it does just ever so slightly even out your lids if you have discoloration on your eyelids like I do. Okay, let's move on to the eyes. I cannot wait to use this palette. So if you've seen my videos over the past few months, you would have seen me use two other color stories in this palette. I have three now. This is my third one. I have Caspa Spices, which I think is number 200. I have Stora Dolls, which is 100, and then this is 400 in Babylone Roses, and I just think these colors are so pretty. So we're gonna go into this beautiful, like rosy kind of nude shade, and this is the only shade in this one that looks matte. The other three have some shimmer in them. But for this, I am actually gonna go on my lid here and kind of bring it up into the crease. So I'm kind of applying this all over. And I'm using a 212 brush from BK Beauty. It's a great blending brush because I want just like a light wash of this shade kind of all over. But look how pretty that color. Honestly, that color on its own is nice. If you have not tried this YSL formula, they are so buttery and creamy, easy to use, easy to blend, very user-friendly. It's a beautiful formula. That's why I have 3. And I love all 3 of them. That color on its own, so pretty. I'm gonna go into this darker purple right here. So this one, I don't know if it will pick up on camera, but it does have some shimmer in there. It looks like gold shimmer. I'll insert swatches of this palette too, so you can see if you're curious. But I'm switching to a smaller brush. This is a 211 from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna add this shade in the outer corner here. So I'm doing like light little circles out in this outer corner because I don't want it to look super stark. I want to really diffuse everything. So I'm kind of laying this color down where I want it, and then we'll kind of blend it out in a minute. And then if you ever feel like you've like gone too low or you want to kind of diffuse it a bit, take your largest eyeshadow brush that you have. I'm using that first one that we used, which was the 212, and you can just kind of diffuse it a little bit. Because I don't know what it is about me, but I don't like super harsh shadow lines. I like, even though I have a hooded eye and obviously I want my eyes to look lifted. I don't want them to look droopy. I don't like that like tape method where you get that crisp line. I don't know. I don't like that on myself. I like something a lot softer. The only time I like a line like that is if I'm doing winged liner, then I like a really sharp line. But other than that, I like it to look kind of diffused. Another thing I'll do sometimes is take my powder on that same blending brush, whatever brush I used, and I will also just kind of go over the edges of the shadow with this, and it helps just melt everything together. Then of course we have to use these beautiful shimmery shades here. I'm going to use the purple one right here. And let's see, I'm going to go into a 203 from BK Beauty first. And then we may use my finger a little bit also, but look. Oh my gosh, this color is so beautiful. Look at that. And these actually pick up very well on a brush. Sometimes this type of shade does not, but this one definitely does. All right, and then I'm just gonna flip my brush over to the other side, and we're gonna go into the pink here, and we're gonna put the pink right in this inner part of the eye. Kind of bring it up to meet the purple. Okay, I'm gonna go into this darker purple again, and I'm gonna use a 208 from BK Beauty, which is the tiny little angled brush, and I'm gonna use this on my lash line, but just the outer lash line, just to add a little bit more of that purple and do like a soft liner. And then I'm gonna go into the first shade, so this beautiful rosy color, and I'm gonna apply this under or on my lower lash line. And then I am gonna use liner in my waterline. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeliner. It's a really nice like wine shade. And I'm gonna put this in my waterline. All right, I am going to curl my lashes. I think for mascara, I'm actually gonna use e.l.f. Lash and Roll in brown. I want my lashes to look soft with this eye makeup, so I'm using this because this is a very soft, natural looking mascara, and the brown shade makes it even more soft. Last, for the lips, I'm gonna start with the Anastasia lip liner in Deep Taupe. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of Merit in the shade Baby. This is the signature lip. Those two go really, really well together. And then I think I'm gonna use just a little bit of my Fenty Heat Gloss in Fussy. All right, this is the finished makeup look. I love it. I love this eye look. Like I said in the beginning, I really wanted to do this video because I've been dying to use this palette, and it did not disappoint. I didn't think that it would because I have 2 of these already. This is my 3rd one. This is an absolutely beautiful, luxurious, buttery eyeshadow formula. It's so user-friendly. It's not difficult to apply in the least, and it's just so soft, but in the best way on your eyes. It just looks effortless. It looks so seamless when you apply these shades. I love them. This shade right here is such a perfect one and done shade. I love that one on its own. You could do just one of these beautiful shimmer shades. You have a great liner or outer corner, deeper purple right here. I mean, this palette is beautiful and the packaging is absolutely beautiful. So I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. If you have plans for Valentine's Day, maybe this can inspire you. But at the end of the day, do your makeup in a way that makes you feel good. Use the colors, the products that give you that really good feeling. I know all the makeup lovers watching know what I mean. Those looks, those products, pull those out on Valentine's Day, whether you have plans or not. And that's what I'm gonna do, even though I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be at home, but it's not about where you go. It's about feeling good, and it's about self-love, in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I will have everything that I used in the description box linked for you. I do use affiliate links that support my channel if you shop through them. If you are new, I hope you'll subscribe and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1, and I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.